Hi, this is Anis from Never Stop Trucking. Today we're going to be talking about 5 top mistakes a dispatcher can and will make, especially a brand new dispatcher. So, brand new dispatchers, this is for you. So, let's start right away with the first mistake, and that is inadequate load planning. I do have several videos on this channel that talk about planning and routing your loads the correct way, calculating the driver's hours of service. But real short here, you do know that a truck will usually drive 60 miles in 1 hour on an average. So if you're booking a load that's 1100 miles, then you should know that it will take a driver 2 days to deliver this load, because a driver can split this, let's say, in 2 days of driving. So one day it's going to be 600 miles, because 10 hours of driving times 60 is 600 miles, and then the driver will have 500 miles left for the next day, and that's also around 8 to 9 hours of driving. And then you will have a 30-minute break, fuel, loading, unloading, and traffic, other things. So you should know that this load will roughly take 2 days. You cannot deliver this load the next day in the morning, maybe in the afternoon, in the late afternoon or evening, but not in the morning. Same thing with a 500-mile load. You cannot deliver usually that load the same day, only if you pick up really early and the times are flexible and driver can go straight through and deliver in the evening or at night. So you have to plan a load, not just the times, which way the driver is going to go. Are there any tolls? And then also, how is the reload looking from there where you're sending the driver? You might be happy because you booked a really great paying load, and you're sending a driver to a really bad area like Denver, Colorado, or for a van, or Florida for a drive, and maybe like Northeast. You have to buy or book a great paying load to get there, in order to justify the weak deadhead rate from there that you're going to have to do in order to get out, or a low paying load that you're going to pick up over there. The second mistake is poor communication. You have to communicate with your drivers. You have to know where they are, how far they have to deliver the load. From delivery to the pickup, is the driver stuck in traffic? Did something break down? Does the shipper load the driver on time? At delivery, is there a lumper? You have to be communicating, and you have to teach your drivers to communicate with you as well, to let you know advance ahead of any changes that they can foresee. The next mistake is not understanding market rates. You have to understand where the best loads are going for which equipment. You have to understand where the worst loads are picking up from. You don't want to send your truck to a bad area on a constant basis, only if the driver has to go there. For example, they're going home, or only if you're getting a great paying load to there, and you can deadhead out of there, or get a lower paying load. Or maybe you already have a load from that bad area in advance that's paying well, so you might as well send your truck for a great pay to that area. Ignoring compliance requirements, that's another thing that you have to be aware of. You have to know how drivers' hours of service work. You have to know where the tolls are, where the way stations are. If the driver, for example, in state of New York, in Pennsylvania, there are a lot of roadside inspections, and drivers can be pulled in at any time from the DOT. So you should know that. You should know where the hills are. how heavy the load can be, and each truck is has different weight. So older trucks, they used to weigh less. You could find a Freightliner or a Volvo that's like 30 to 31,000 pounds heavy without any weight. Nowadays, they make them heavier. Nowadays, they can be 33, 34 or more. Uh, on like even if there is no load, they're much, much heavier than they used to be. So the newer trucks cannot pick up some heavy freight. Also, the trailers, some trailers will weigh less, some of them will weigh more. For example, a reefer trailer tends to weigh more in the front because of the refrigerator unit that's right there. Flatbeds, they can weigh less because they don't have any sides, they don't have a roof. So you have to be familiar with the equipment and the weight that the driver has on his or her truck. Another thing is you don't want to overload your drivers. You have to understand how loading works, how much one pallet weighs usually, and you need to understand uh, the formula that drivers use when they load their trucks. So these dry vans that we work with, usually they're 53 feet long, but in order to spread the weight out correctly, we drivers, we would ask the shippers to load all the way to 48 feet. So the last 5 feet in the trailer are usually sitting empty, especially if this is a heavy load. If it's a light load, it really doesn't matter. But if it's over like 38, 39,000 pounds, ideally you want the load to be to 48 feet, because that's where you slide your tandems in the back. The rear of your tandems of your wheels will be aligned with the rear of the load, and that way you have the perfect weight. Only if most of these pallets are same weight. If the pallets are different weight, then that's a different story. But usually these loads, especially on a drive-in on a reefer, will usually have identical pallets, and they will have the same weight. So you have to know how this works. You know, if the broker is telling you this load is 8 pallets, but it's 44,000 pounds, then that's a pretty heavy load per pallet. That's going to be hard to haul, hard to load, and driver might not be able to scale it out and might even reject that load once he or she gets to the pickup. So these are some of these mistakes. Thanks for watching. If you have any comments or any other suggestions for brand new dispatchers, make sure you leave them, like the video, come back for more. This is Ennis from Never Stop Trucking.